think we're gonna give this a fucking shot here.
All right. How do you want to start out?
I think we're starting right now. Yeah, this is officially live.
Let's go.
Let's go. Fish and toast.
That's right.
I know.
I like it.
One of my more clever podcasts.
I thought it was pretty good.
Creations.
I wasn't even thinking of going that route.
Well, you are the toast man.
It's true.
Just to do the proper introductions here, Joe Fisher, obviously that's where the fish comes from. And I actually have you right on here as your name as Toast. It is just Toast.
A lot of people in their phone book have that as Toast too. So
is that true?
It is.
Like Kyle and Switzer just Toast man?
Yep.
Where did the toast thing ever come from?
It came from when I was younger. That was my literal favorite food.
Just crushing toast.
So much bread. So much bread, cinnamon, sugar, all kinds of different toast, butter, jelly, peanut butter, you name it. That was my thing. And it just kind of caught on, and it kind of goes well because Tanner toast, 2 T's works.
Yeah. And then your dream one day was to open up a toast shop.
Toast shop. Yep.
It's just different types of breads and jams. And
the Parmesan. We can go savory. We can do whatever you want with it. Yeah.
So I have to know your feelings then on just avocado toast.
See, I'm not a big avocado person, but
so therefore out on avocado toast.
Yeah, me personally, yes, but I know it's very popular. People love it, but I don't like a lot of things that people like. So
throw a little egg on there. Like a little, like a poached egg or something like that. Oh
you betcha.
God. You edge that egg a little bit before popping it, letting the yolk all over
it. A little runny.
Oh my God. I just found out the other day that place by my house does some eggs Benny.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm very, very enthused about that.
I love when I find a nice breakfast spot.
Yes. What I am enthused about though is how much fucking football is being played right now?
Oh, it's beautiful. I've been waiting so long for it.
I have been aroused for the last 2 weeks, probably. It is just, there's been so many times over the last couple Saturdays and Sundays where I'm watching a game and something happens and I'm like, God, I love football.
I've been waiting for this.
This is so great.
You started out with the Isaiah Likely foot on the line. You're like, oh, I couldn't have gone any better than that.
This is fantastic. It happened last week with the Oklahoma State Arkansas game.
Pure chaos. That is
just a mess of a game towards the end, and I was just like, this is just fantastic. I absolutely love this. Yeah, that was one of those moments. I think that the first NFL game of the year always kind of gets you in that mood too.
Yep.
But yeah, I definitely had that moment watching out Arkansas.
Watch them come back 26-10 in the fourth. Right there, it
was a mess, dude.
They outgained them by 300 yards. Arkansas did, and Oklahoma State somehow won that game.
Yeah, it was especially towards the end. It seemed like nobody wanted to win that game.
Oh.
Just missing kicks in overtime. The quarterback for Oklahoma State, I forget what his name is, but he got a penalty towards the end that for taunting that drove him back.
Oh, yeah. You can't do that stuff. It's the most college game of all time.
It's like, dude, my God. But I think with us talking about college football, that's where I want to go first.
Hey, happy rivalry week.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
And also happy Thanksgiving, because that's what week it is, right?
Right. It's November 28th, right?
Yeah, right.
No, that is something that I did want to get to at some point. But college football as a whole, just top teams struggling in general.
Yeah, it was a little brutal.
The one game that I caught a little bit of in the second half because I realized I was like, oh my God, what is happening here? Alabama, South Florida.
Yeah, did you see that go down to the end there when Golish decided to kick a field goal down on their 13 instead of going for a touchdown when they needed a touchdown? Because that final score is not indicative of what happened in that game.
No, it's not.
They should not have been that much blown out in that game.
I think I started watching that in the second half. And then because that was Saturday night, I ended up going to my girlfriend's to watch the Ducks game. So I didn't catch the end of that. And then I saw the final score. I'm like, what the hell happened there?
Yeah.
This Alabama just went off at the end, scored like 28 points in like 5 minutes or something, it seemed like.
Well, Bear Browning could actually hit a wide receiver that was wide open. It could have been a lot worse for Alabama because he was missing guys left and right. He has a strong arm, but my God. And Golish has a really good offense. It's just he was missing guys all over the place. So
see, this is the thing that I love about having you on this show and doing a show with you is that your knowledge on coaches at every college and your knowledge on quarterbacks, like I need to find the text from years ago. I think it was just last year, but I was talking to you about Louisville and I asked you, I was like, hey, did you see what happened to Louisville Cardinals basketball?
Oh, yeah.
And this was from November 22, so about 2 years ago.
Probably just a novel.
And you're like, oh, was it with the sanctions or something? And you're like, I was like, no, they lost their first game to a school named Bellarmine. Like I had never heard of Bellarmine in my life.
Yep.
And then your response to that, and I even said, I was like, it doesn't even sound like a real school name. It sounds made up. And your response to that text was, oh, I did see that. Bellarmine showing Louisville who runs the state. So you knew that they were in Kentucky.
Oh, yes.
So geographically.
It was a big game for them.
Geographically.
Very big game for them.
In. Scott Davenport is actually a solid coach. You knew the coach's name. So you're locked in on what state Bellarmine was in, as well as who the coach of Bellarmine was. And then won a Division II national championship. You knew that Davenport is a national championship head coach. They play hard. I actually bet Tarleton State Monday plus 15 against Arizona State, and they almost won outright. Just a disrespectful line to Billy Gillespie's bunch.
Seriously. That was a great text right there.
Oh, yeah. I said to you, I was like, I don't even know how to start with that text. Give me a few hours to give you a breakdown because I go back on that maybe once a quarter just to be like, how the hell did he know all that? Just ready to go, just in his back pocket. Bellarmine, and then I didn't even know Tarleton State was a real school either.
Yeah, right.
Now I know that they're in Texas.
Texas, yep.
Yeah. Go Tarleton State. Tarleton State, what's their mascot?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that.
The jackalopes. Something that is like borderline not
do something with like
not intimidating.
Horse or something.
Yeah. But Alabama, they struggled with South Florida, which was shocking. Go Bulls. I remember seeing that chick in the crowd with that believe.
It's not an easy game, let me tell you.
Those boys in South Florida, they fight hard. The fighting Willie Taggarts. And then Penn State.
Oh, I love that game.
They had to come back against them. Bowling Green came out and scored 3 touchdowns quick on them.
Harold Fannin Jr.
Remember that name.
He is 11 receptions for them. He was an animal. He's going to be
Harold Fannin.
Yeah, he's going to be playing on Sundays for sure. He's really, really good. I actually bet Bowling Green to win the MAC, so I'm high on them.
You bet Bowling Green
to win the MAC. I am not sure about that with how NIU played this week and Thomas Hammock's bunch, but I'm just telling you, Bowling Green has a good Connor Bazelak has kind of figured things out there at Bowling Green, and from when he transferred from Missouri, and he kind of looks like a different player under Scott Loeffler.
Is this the quarterback?
Yeah.
Dude, it is insane how locked in you are on all this. The quarterback, what's his name again? He came from Missouri.
Connor Bazelak.
Yeah. Harold Fannin Jr. I love that you said that he's going to be playing on Sundays because
he will. This guy is legit.
I had to educate my son on what that meant. He's like, what does that mean? What does that mean playing on Sundays? I was like, it means they're going to be in the NFL. That's what that means.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they barely escaped Bowling Green and had to come back in that one. That was all in the 9 a.m. slot where there was a few top 25 teams that were losing.
It was overwhelming almost.
And then they all ended up winning, I felt.
Yeah.
Besides the Northern Illinois. Oh, my God. Florida State, that's one thing, them losing the first 2 games of the year. And then it's Notre Dame loses too. It's could you think of, of course, these 2 schools are the ones that have like early season upsets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, remember when Notre Dame lost to Marshall? Was that 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, Marshall, and then they
At
lost
home
to,
again.
Then they lost to 3-9 Stanford as well.
Yep.
Dude, Marcus Freeman, he was in his post game press conference, and he was just like, tough spot, but we just need to rally. We've been here before. We've been here before, and I'm like, that's not a good thing. Like,
right?
That's not an endearing quality.
That shouldn't be something you're looking for,
yeah,
right
it's
there.
Like, hey, we're used to this, guys. Like,
okay,
we'll respond. We'll be fine. Yeah, I was. That was a good week 1 win against Texas A&M, but my God, way to flush that down the drain immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's the letdown spot. The letdown spot there. I was on Northern Illinois plus 28 because of the letdown spot. When you win those big games, the next game, what do you have to get up for? Like, that's what I think. Like Oklahoma State, after they were in that big one they just won, they play Tulsa now. Like, that's in a look-ahead spot to when they play Utah next week.
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, Bowling Green and Penn State. Like, Penn State the week before is playing West Virginia and absolutely show out and bully them.
That's why it's, like, for me, I feel like it's very profitable, like, in the long term. You bet these, like, lesser teams. And, yeah, because you're usually not locked in.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ducks kind of showed you that with a few of their –
See, but that wasn't the case. Like, it was almost the reverse for them.
Yeah,
week 1 with Idaho, it's like, oh yeah, they should definitely just beat the brakes off them and whoop their ass. And then it's like, no.
They even said, like, I forget who it was, Trayshawn Holden or something came out and said, yeah, I mean, you really just got to respect every opponent. Like, if you're not respecting your opponent, bad things can happen.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was earlier that week, I was talking to one of my clients, and I asked him, I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I'm going to Autzen for the first time. My wife and I were going to go watch them play Idaho. That's our alma mater. We both went to Idaho. So he was a Vandal. And I was like, oh, man.
That's cool.
I was like, well, I hope it's enjoyable for you.
I hope it's respectable. I hope you're not like.
I was like trying to be like nice and be like, oh, we kind of know how those week 1 games go, but I hope it's close. Like, I hope it's a somewhat fun game for you. Like, and he knew too. And I haven't talked to him since then, but I'm sure he had a hell of a time down there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely saw, because I was down there. I saw plenty of Idaho fans just so happy they were in the game.
Faithful rolled in strong.
Yeah, there was a decent showing. Boise this past weekend had obviously a little bit better showing. But I was actually sitting right next to a Boise fan in my section. So he was a cool guy, but
for a quarter.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it's like, all right, this is getting fucking ridiculous. Can we stop with this, please?
Talk about nerve-wracking. I just couldn't. I haven't been able to go to a game yet and like actually relax.
I've considered taking up smoking.
Yeah.
It has already been and I decree from now on, we do not play anybody from the state of Idaho.
Please.
We're done from now on.
For some reason, we always have a tough time.
No, it is unacceptable that we put anybody from Idaho. Coeur d'Alene School for the Blind. Like, not happening. All right, I do not want to see them on the Duck schedule going forward. And I mean, that's the last team I had on this list. Utah as well, but that kind of was a Cam Rising going out thing. Like
the hand.
As soon as he left,
can't catch a break.
Yes, dude, seriously, that guy is made of glass. It seems like paper skin.
DeQuan Finn looked terrible. Like for Baylor. Connor O'Toole was in the backfield like pretty much all night, like 2 sacks.
Locked in.
Yeah, I mean,
you're locked in.
I'm telling you.
Who do you not know?
I mean, there's plenty I don't know, but I pay attention to these sort of games. And I was really locked into that Iowa State game because, I like a rock fight.
Oh, El Assico.
Yes, that's right.
Which I don't know who coined that term, but that is now my favorite rivalry game title. El Assico.
That game was wild. It
what was that, 2019? Did that hit the over?
Yes.
I was gonna say the over under.
It did. It was 35. It was 35.
I was gonna say 34.5. Yeah.
Did you take a look at Cade McNamara's passing? 13 of 29, 99 yards, and 2 interceptions.
That's just Iowa football, baby.
Yeah, but they abandoned the run in the second half. Caleb Johnson, 25 carries, 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, why are you abandoning the run when you've been dominating the whole time? So it's like, it's very frustrating. But I mean, they have no one to pass to. So, but they did a good job. Rocco Beck rallied the crew in the second half and were able to pull out an upset.
But
you don't feel very often.
The last team on this list, and like I
don't know what the hell
is going on with Eugene, bud.
I do, but my God, like just watching that week after week has been.
You're telling me.
You've been there both times, season ticket holder, Tanner.
That's right.
I mean,
for sure.
The vibes at Autzen, I'm sure, have been just nerve-wracking. I mean, I will say about this game against Boise State, like, once it went final, I was like, that's a game Oregon usually loses. Like, is it not?
It definitely is. If it has a little bit different feel this year, kind of almost
they won.
Yeah, but it's like we're winning. Like, I kind of feel good that we're winning close games right now. Like, it's not nice being in them, but like at least we're pulling them out. And because past years, definitely last year, we didn't have very many close games. Those close games were against Washington. We lost those. So the fact that we're playing some close games and winning, but this definitely, you walk out of the stadium and be like, yeah, we won, but I don't feel great about it.
No.
You know, like you're trying to like grasp to the good things, the Tez punt return for a touchdown, the Noah Whittington return for a touchdown, which he dropped
he almost
the line.
He almost pulled a Utah.
Yeah, he did. But luckily, Gene Lamar picked it up in the end zone, which is
that's a football guy right there. That's savvy football move right there.
Hold on to the damn ball.
Seemingly he picked it up not knowing, like, I don't know. The way that he picked it up, I don't know if he was even sure, like, oh, I need to get this thing.
Yeah, right.
He's like, he just grabbed it, and, it was like, all right, well, technically it'd still be a touchdown. But it's just, dude, it seems very clunky.
Yeah.
On the offensive side. Defense is like, they were put out on that field a lot.
No, the defense did a great
Saturday.
job. 12 pass breakups. Like, I mean, we were getting pressure. I mean, Ashton Janty is just really good. Like, he's going to have runs where he breaks off. Like, he ran over 3 tacklers.
Dude,
like
that guy built like a shit brick house. Like, my God, he's like 5'9", 225. Like,
yeah.
That was seeing what he did against Georgia Southern. I was just like, that will be fun. That's what we have to deal with after struggling against fucking Idaho the week before.
Right.
The dude that ran for 6 touchdowns. Like, this should be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I went back to Peacock and rewatched the game.
The cock.
Yeah.
Which also, my God, like, that was an exhausting game in Autzen. That was an exhausting game at home, having to watch that thing on Peacock.
With just a lot of breaks or what?
Dude, like the camera kept cutting out.
Oh.
The cameramen would be like zoomed in on the wrong spot.
Just making you sick.
Having to like fix their
zooming
angle.
in and out.
Dude, it was Andrew Siciliano was on the call.
Oh.
And he at multiple times had mess ups. Now I will say, like, the play-by-play commentator was enthused to be there, unlike Colt McCoy. Who,
oh God, yeah.
Dude, he was like fended out or something like that. Like, dude was the least enthused I've ever heard a play-by-play commentator on that Colorado-Nebraska game. But yeah, the Peacock. The one thing I'll give them is, like years past, ESPN has had games and it looks like they're filming the game with a potato.
Oh,
super pixelated,
terrible cameras.
Yeah, like, bad resolution.
Yeah,
that is the one thing I will give Peacock is that their cameras are really nice. It was 4K quality, like it looked really good. But it was just that game, how it went, combined with that broadcast. I couldn't wait for that thing to get over. It was like 10:30, 10:45, and I'm like, dude, can we just get this game over with? And Sappington make this damn field goal for the love of
after
God.
he missed the PAT, I was like, do not come down to Sappington. Do not come down. And then it came down to him.
Oh, dude. And I was at my girlfriend's house watching this, and I was like, watch. He's a plant. He came from Oregon State. He came to Oregon because he's
screw our season.
Yeah, he's gonna miss this on purpose and send it to overtime, and that's where we lose this game. Watch. And luckily he made it, but my God, that's why I say I'm going to take up smoking because of the Oregon.
Well, back to the defense. Did you Bryce Betcher had his best game ever as a Duck?
Dude,
he was all over the field.
He was one that I was very
Devin
much
Jackson.
like. he was one that I was somewhat like, we'll see how he is this year on defense. Like if he's going to get this much playing time, like pray to God that he lives up to it, because if you're giving him that many snaps, then he better perform. And I thought he was great. He was all over the place.
I think he's just outplaying Justin Jacobs right now. I mean, Justin Jacobs might be a little hurt, but I think he really is outplaying him right now. And Devin Jackson has his best game also as a Duck. He outplayed Jeff Bossa too. Bossa had probably his worst game of the day, like the year for sure.
I mean, Devin Jackson too. That guy's just like an athlete. Like, so fast. Like that guy's insane. Like I'm really encouraged with the defense. They did exactly what I said after the Idaho game. I was like, they're going to keep us in a lot of games, and they did that against Boise State, because when you think about just that second half, like the Ducks score in the second half, they go up 27-20. What was it? And I think it was either at that point, I'd have to check the play-by-play, but they have the 3-and-out where they get the holding and then have the 3 straight runs.
Yep.
And then punt the ball. So their defense goes out there. And then the next possession is the Herbert fumble. And
that was a really good play by their defender. Herbert does not usually let go of the ball that easy. So, I mean, the turnovers and the penalties are absolutely killing us. Mainly the penalties, like they're unexcusable. Yeah. Like some of them are bad. I mean, the play that like gets me, like even watching it back, was when Charlie Pickard snapped the football and the ref is still on the intercom announcing the penalty of what they were calling, and he's the only one ready for the ball, snaps it, and it's a fumble.
Yeah.
And no one else was ready, and it's a fumble. And it's like, we're that unaware right now?
Chuck, baby, what are you doing?
Like, I mean, we cannot be doing that.
So I got it pulled up. So that possession and this was one of the more infuriating possessions of the day, was when it was tied 20-20 at that point, but the Ducks got the holding penalty and they were backed up on their like 15. And then I think even beyond that, and then they just ran the ball 3 straight times forward. And it was just like, really? Like, we're not even going to make a try?
Yeah, we're not even trying.
Yeah. So that was infuriating. And then after that, so the Ducks, they're on defense. They get the punt return. The defense has to go right back out there. And then after that, fumble number 1.
Yep.
And then they have the 70-yard touchdown. Right after that is the Dylan Gabriel fumble.
Yep.
So then the defense is right back out there. So that was like, I mean, how long were they out there to start that second half?
They played a lot of snaps. I mean, it was pretty impressive by them, and definitely were the star of the game for us. But we got to get something figured out with our offense. Something's got to get ironed out, mainly in the offensive line and Dylan Gabriel. We are also throwing the ball to the left side of the field 70% of the time, which is pretty easy to figure out if you're a defense, which side Dylan Gabriel wants to throw it to. So I'd like to mix in what we're doing there. And he's being efficient, but because we're throwing the ball a yard maybe sometimes, and so someone's having to make a play on it, which is kind of how our offense is designed. But the shot down the field to Evan Stewart was a good sign. Finally some explosive plays.
Yeah, big passes down the field. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
You get T-Ferg involved a little bit more, and we're starting to get Kenyon Sadiq in there running the ball, catching the ball. He's another threat. So that's nice to see at least, but we need to be able to run the ball. We're not running the ball consistently. Jordan James is too good of a back not to open a little bit of a lane. He's doing what he can. When we brought in the Shad Struther in the second half, put him at guard, moved Poncho to center. We started running the ball better, and that's when we started like having a little bit of rhythm on offense, because it's very easy to figure out what we're doing. And for some reason, Boise State and Idaho can stop our run pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, in that first game, that's what drove me absolutely insane, is just the amount of pressure push that the defensive line for Idaho was able to get on that unit. Yeah. And so hopefully,
they won. They beat Wyoming this week. Hey.
I brought that up on Sunday on my show. I was just like, hey, Idaho got a big win against Wyoming. All right.
Wyoming's terrible, but yes, they did. Hey, a win's a win. That's
let's hype up Wyoming. Let's whatever we can do to make those 2 wins against Oregon better at this point. We need to do that. All right.
Leads.
Again, referencing my client, he's like, "Hey, Idaho, they had a good year last year. They were in the FCS playoffs. They finished number 7 ranked in the country."
Yep.
And I'm like, all right. And then jokingly, I'm like, oh, okay. So Idaho, it might be a little bit of a test. It might be a little bit tougher for Oregon than I think it is. And then sure enough, it was way too hard of a test for Oregon. So
I remember watching him play on ESPN in the FCS playoffs when it was going on.
Was it them that played it? Maybe it was the championship game, but was it Montana? And was it Montana, North Dakota State in the championship game?
I think so, yeah. Or South Dakota State.
Yeah, I'd have to go
the
back
Jackrabbits.
Look at the tournament because it was in Montana they were playing.
Yes.
God, I got to go back and look at how the tournament played out because I just remember catching one of the games last year and just being like, dude, FCS football, let's go.
Yeah.
There's something about like Montana football in December. Like everybody's freezing their ass off. And these guys playing for no end.
Got your hot cocoa ready to go in the stands.
You got just an all white offensive line with just mullets. Just these guys that your left tackle, right tackle,
barely weight 300 pounds. Just a bit.
But I mean, this leads me to ask, like, I'm trying to just give myself the false confidence and false hope that like the Ducks, like, against the Beavers, like, oh yeah, just blowout win coming up. Like they'll get it right this week. Like,
yeah, according to the point spread, it's not going to be a blowout. I think it's like 14 points.
I know. I'm really just trying to trick myself, like play these mental gymnastics that this is like, oh yeah, no, this will be the week that they just absolutely kick the shit out of the Beavs and they'll win 45-14.
Oh yeah.
Let's make a statement.
And I pray that happens, but if you want to take the sample size from both these teams the last 2 weeks, I would find it hard to believe that happens.
Well, we know that they're going to run the damn ball like they usually do.
Yeah.
They had 2 running backs.
Yeah. Jan and Hankerson.
Yeah, they just run all game. I think their quarterback McCoy has only thrown the ball like
20 times.
Yeah, like maybe a game, like if that, like they do
I think
not
he was
give
9
it.
for 10 against Idaho State, and then as far as what he did in the game on Saturday against San Diego State, I think, I don't know if he did the ball 20 times.
They have so many so many people transferred out and so many new people. They have like one offensive lineman back, Gray, who's one of their guards.
Josiah Gray.
Yeah, and I mean, did you know though that they have PFF's number 2 defensive lineman graded right now, Thomas Collins?
Yeah, that's just Beaver football.
Yeah. I mean, his competition, and the guy's from Sweden.
So McCoy,
he doesn't even play.
He's from Sweden.
He's from Sweden.
Dude,
International.
Big Hoss Swede on the team.
He's not even that big. He's just really twitchy.
And McCoy threw 26 times against San Diego State, actually, which was much more than I thought.
But I mean, still, all in all, that's like 30, almost 40 attempts, like in 2 games.
Yeah,
which
36 through 2 games. So 18 a game essentially.
They're not asking him to do a whole lot. He's not. I mean, they're going to be breaking out all sorts of plays against us. This is their Super Bowl beating us.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
we're going to see things that we have not seen from them this year already.
Well, we've seen basically Oregon State's like keys to success, like year in and year out now, is just keep the ball out of their hands. Like, just run the
fundamentals,
run the ball, beat them at the line of scrimmage, beat our guys versus your guys on the line of scrimmage, outpower you, which quite frankly, like I understand that's what you have to do, but this defensive line for the Ducks, like that is the unit that I like believe in the most right now.
Them and the DBs, which is
the defense
weird.
In general. Yeah, exactly.
Like Brandon Johnson's been so good.
Great first 2 games.
Like I was not expecting him to be that good. He is an animal out there.
Yeah. Right? So no, I am just trying to give myself the false confidence and false hope that this is a week where it's just like, okay, this is all right. This is what we expected Oregon to look like the first 2 weeks, and Oregon State doesn't stand a chance. But for the sake of this game, I do want it to be close. I do want it to be a 1-possession game because when it comes down to that in the Civil War, like those are really fun to watch.
You know, I've just been in them so much lately that I could take 2-score win. Like it's not that.
Yeah.
Like please, like I would love that, but
that game's got bet up, right? Like I feel like I saw it open up at like 13.5, 14.
It got bet up to 14, and then I bet some people are going to come back because, 14 being a key number, it's going to – that fluctuate. I would not play anything under 14 for the Ducks right now.
You wouldn't bet under 14?
Oh, no, I would bet anything anything over 14 I would not touch.
Yeah, I'm curious because I was looking earlier today. I'm wondering if they've got I love Vegas Insider that they started putting the opening odds next to
Very, very helpful.
Yeah, and what it is now. Yeah, so like most of the books have it at like 16 or 16.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that, honestly. I bet
they got it. Cover.
I bet there's some buyback closer to game time then.
It dips back down.
I bet it. I mean, have you looked at us and seen that we can cover any point spread right now? Like, I don't think that, especially on a away game in a tough environment where it's our first road game too. Like, we haven't really looked good at home, and we're going on the road. Like, how is the team going to travel? This is a whole new team, really.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes
up the road.
Yeah, but it's still like it's in a different
Two shakes of a
environment.
lamb's tail. It's no problem.
Yeah.
We're fine. We're fine.
I like your optimism, though.
And it's that the secret mentality, right? You just gotta put out that positive energy, and you will reciprocate, right? You put up that what is it in It's Always Sunny? They have the image board. You just put the things on the board that you want, and then you get them. All right. So I'm putting that on my mental board right now as Ducks 45-14 victory. And it's a rout in Corvallis. All right.
Yeah, I like that.
It's bound to happen.
I'm
And
here
if it doesn't happen this week, it damn sure is going to happen in 2-3 weeks against UCLA. Because UCLA is
2 weeks. Yeah, we get a bye week after this week.
hot trash.
We need this bye. Like, I was pissed about our bye week being so early, like initially, and now I'm like, we need the bye week.
It's like 3 weeks in, and like,
well, another week that Matthew Bedford could get healthy. That's good for our O line.
Yeah.
Like, anything we can get here, because it's not looking great at the moment.
mean, as far as Bedford goes, like, do you play him? Like, you
don't rush him. If he's ready. But
yeah,
he's got 1 year of eligibility. So, like, if he plays 4 games, he's gone. Like, I don't even know if he can get another, like, medical red shirt or anything if this goes wrong. So, if he can play, I think we're throwing him in there. And I haven't seen him enough to be like, oh, bona fide stud, but he's played like 4 years of Big Ten football and started at multiple positions. So,
I'm trying not to be nervous. This usually backfires by kickoff. Is that I go throughout the week, I'm like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And then you get closer to the game, and then it's just like I'm not feeling good anymore. At all.
Well, on paper, you look, oh, we're good at every position. You're like, oh, we're superior.
Yeah,
like you'd think, but it doesn't always come down to that. And we got to play a clean game. If we can play a clean game, stop the run, no turnovers, no penalties.
Nope.
Obviously,
snaps when the quarterback isn't ready.
Please hold on to the dang football. Like, uncharacteristic mistakes.
Yeah,
we should be fine.
Yeah, clean game. Yeah, that is the emphasis. Is just play good football and clean football this week. Like, under 5 penalties if you can, for the love of God.
I know there's going to be penalties because there's always going to be penalties, but limit the penalties.
Yeah, like I say, keep it under 5, and I think I'll be happy.
No back breaking, no holding on the opposite side of where the play's going. No. No implications to what's actually happening in the play. Just no personal fouls. Like, even though it's a rivalry game, things are going to be heated.
Yeah. No
stupid mistakes, because even just that will like mess up the whole game for you.
And as you mentioned, it's rivalry week. Seeing that the Apple Cup is on Peacock, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it at all, dude. Like, having games on Peacock 1 is just annoying as is. But now that back-to-back weeks, like meaningful games for at least this area we're in, are on Peacock, I'm just like, and especially the Apple Cup. Like, I don't know what the contract is. I haven't looked into it with NBC and Peacock and how they're getting some of these games, but it's pissing me off. Like, again, especially this one where, like, last week I get it. All right, non-conference early season matchup, like, whatever. But a rivalry game between Washington and Washington State, again, for us up here versus other parts of the country, I'm sure, obviously East Coast doesn't really give a shit. But
Yeah.
seeing that this game is on Peacock, I'm just like, dude, for real? Like, why? Why is this not on FS1?
At least FS1,
Yeah.
like just
for the love of
something.
God.
Like usually, I know a lot of people are pissed about it, and it's another thing that they try to get you to buy on top of what you're already paying for in your cable,
Dude.
So it's like
One of the more annoying things last year in football was when they not only having that Kansas City Miami game on Peacock, but then the week after was when Tirico at like halftime of the playoff game was just gaslighting me the whole time about how much of a success it was and how great it was. I was like, no,
just
don't.
loving it.
Yeah, we have this many people subscribe and watch the game and happy that this will be a long-lasting relationship between the NFL and NBC and Peacock going forward. I'm just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's
like,
not going away.
This isn't going. Yeah,
It's
this
not
is
going away anytime
away.
soon. Yeah.
That was infuriating. So the Washington State-Washington game, that's also at 12:30, same time as Oregon State. You know what's happening for me on Saturday at 12? A wedding.
No, you're working one?
No more. So my last wedding was last weekend for Justin Bradshaw, JB.
Because I thought you were done until you told me last week, and now I'm.
Oh no, I'm done. This is my cousin's wedding. She's just getting married. But
don't they know the rules? Not during football season. Who does that?
Dude. Yeah, I'm not enthused about it. But the ceremony starts at noon.
Be done by 12:15.
It should be. The ceremonies should not go over 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
like I remember I DJ'd a wedding a couple of years ago, and the officiant just was milking the clock. And God bless his soul. One of our buddies was out there, and it was a hot day, and he was in the direct sunlight, and I could just see him from like 200 yards away, just dying. Just like I could see it in his face, like just get this over with.
Right.
So
summer weddings, everyone's in like nice clothes, long pants, tuxes, just sweating their asses off.
See, and I need to look at the venue also because
you're going to be pulling the game up on.
It's going to be on my
your phone.
Yeah, more than likely. I'm going to ask him like, you guys
have a TV on like a cart you can yeah. Can I cast my phone to this TV, please?
Yeah. Oh, and it's like I had to also make sure my sister, because they don't keep track of this stuff, but the wedding's in Junction City, and it's on Saturday. So months ago, I told them I was
get there early.
Oh, I told them, and it's again the ceremony's at noon, and I told them months ago I was like, you guys are going to want to look at either like staying the night in Junction City or Eugene or somewhere, because if you think you're going to get there, like if you're going to leave Portland at 10. And get there by noon that day. It's not happening.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, like whether you take 99 or I-5, you're not getting there in an hour and a half like a regular drive like you would going to Junction City. And
not a chance.
Yeah. So I came in the clutch. I knew what the hell was going on. They didn't. And they booked like a Airbnb in Eugene, North Eugene, just,
good.
Good call.
Kind
of close where I used to live, actually. But yeah, I very much came in the clutch telling them, like, you better get something figured out because I sure as hell am not leaving at 8 a.m. driving down south on a Saturday, not going to a college football game.
Yeah.
Like,
I might as well just end up at the game.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point.
Yes,
yeah.
Seriously. Like, cut out right after.
At Corvallis right there. Just ding.
Yeah, so I got to look up this venue and see what their TV situation is like. See if I can, maybe I just bring a TV. Tailgate at the wedding.
Oh, that's what's up.
Not a bad idea.
I like that idea.
All right, I want to, for the sake of time, I want to flip over to some National Football League stuff.
Hold on one second. I just want to bring up this South Carolina Kentucky game this weekend.
Oh,
did you see anything that happened with it? I mean, probably good that you didn't because it was a fucking snooze fest. I just want to read you off.
Well, I know Stoops is not happy.
Well, Brock Vandagriff, the quarterback that Kentucky has from Georgia, transfer. Okay. This is a stat line. 3 of 10, 30 yards, and an interception. He got benched. They brought in Gavin Wimsatt, transfer from Rutgers.
That's already a bad
right?
sign right there, transfer from Rutgers.
He comes in 3 for 7, 14 yards, interception. So that's what you're getting on offense. They scored a total of 6 points, 2 field goals this weekend, and they looked like one of the worst offenses I've seen in a while.
I'm on what is this? The Courier Journal. The Carrier Journal. I'm guessing is probably something in Kentucky. Yeah, I think it's one of their newspapers there in Kentucky. The headline is, "Where does Kentucky football's loss to South Carolina rank among worst under Mark Stoops?"
Oh, it was painful to watch. Like, I mean, South Carolina has a decent defense and like some good guys on the D line, but I do not know what's going on at quarterback. That is bad. I've not seen a stat line with two quarterbacks that come in past that poorly.
They rated this as the worst loss in the Mark Stoops era.
No way. I mean, it looked like it. It looks like Mark Stoops is checked out. Like, he thought he was going to get that Texas A&M job, and now he's
just pissed and he's just like, dude, get me out of here. Give me my buyout. I'm done.
He should be trying to win. I think, wins 6 or 8 games, one of the two, and he gets an automatic extension onto his contract a year.
He might not want that.
Yeah, well, at this point.
He might be.
Usually you would. Usually that's a good stipulation to throw in there, you know?
Oh, we'll get back into college football because at the end we'll do a little bit of gambling talk because there's some things with college. I mean, NFL wise, gambling wise, I don't want to get to. But
oh yeah,
NFL week 1, we made it there too, baby.
It was fun.
Oh, dude, always is the first Sunday of the NFL season. I mean, it straight in my veins, baby. Like
you saw a little bit of everything, really.
What is it? Our show on 1080 The Fan, it ends at 11. So we watched the first hour of Red Zone while doing the show, and then the show ended, and I was like, well, I don't really have to be anywhere. I got the Red Zone right here. Like I stayed for another 45 minutes in the studio, just watching, just chilling.
I was watching Red Zone all day. Yeah,
it was so great. But from all the games, and I asked you this earlier today, is try to come up with like a player and a team that you were most impressed with in week 1, because there's a ton that happens. You can go so many different ways with it. But
yeah.
As far as a team and then a player.
Do you want me to start out with the team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go team first.
So the team that most impressed me, I got to go with the New England Patriots. No one saw that coming.
No.
That
Survivor pools wrecked across the country.
It was unbelievable. Like, I mean, 16-10. I mean, Gerard Mayo had that squad fired up. The defense looked great. Joe Burrow was terrible. Dude, I had him starting in fantasy.
And his hand is
bench next week.
Yeah, like he might be.
It's not good.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. Who did I see that the Bengals were playing this week too? I don't know if it was the Steelers. No, Steelers are playing Denver, I want to say.
But just the fact that Jacoby Brissett is still in there making a start and getting a win.
Dude, I've loved Jacoby Brissett ever since NC State. All right, yeah. Like he catches so much shit, but I am a staunch Jacoby Brissett defender, and I probably shouldn't be because it ends up showing itself in the end, like that 1-15 season where where was he the quarterback at? Where they won the first game with him. And then ended up losing every game after that. Oh, it's escaping me. But I'm happy for Jacoby Brissett to at least get a win and prove the naysayers wrong for 1 week.
Ramondre Stevenson, another strong showing, 25 carries, 120 yards and a touchdown. The fact that they held Zach Moss to 44 yards, Chase Brown to 11. They had essentially no run game, and then Jamar Chase got pretty much shut down by Christian Gonzalez. Go Ducks.
Dude, I saw it was a tweet earlier today where it was like Christian Gonzalez over the last 2 years and number 1 receivers.
I think I saw that same tweet. Yeah.
Them. Dude, I'll find that because it's absolutely insane. Like, I was just like, holy shit. Like, he is locking up whoever they put on him. Doesn't matter the team. In the Bengals, they play the Chiefs. So good luck with that.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, here it is. Yeah. Christian Gonzalez NFL matchups against the Bengals, 20 routes. This is Jamar Chase, 20 routes, 3 receptions, 15 yards. Garrett Wilson, which this is probably a sample size over 2 games last year, 23 routes, 3 reception, 18 yards. Tyreek Hill, 17 routes, 0 reception, 0 yards, interception. Jalen Waddle, 4 routes, 1 reception, 15 yards. I think this is maybe Devontae Smith. I'm guessing. Yeah, Devontae Smith, 11 routes, 2 receptions, 22 yards. A.J. Brown, 4 receptions, 47 yards. So he has just locked up any of the prominent receivers that have been put on him over the last year.
It's impressive. Like,
it's awesome.
Yeah, they got themselves a CB1. The fact that New England won this game and had, I guess, their wide receivers, the top was 2 receptions, and Ramondre Stevenson had 3, which is a running back. So
that's just Patriot football.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically the Oregon State Beavers of the NFL.
Wide receivers, we don't need any.
Yeah.
They've proven that for the last few years.
So that one really impressed me, probably, for the out of all. I mean, there's a few others, but the Patriots definitely were my team that I was like, yeah, that was an impressive win. I did not expect that out of them.
No.
I didn't really know what to expect, but I didn't expect them to win. That's for sure.
No.
So that's a really good win on their resume to start the season. As far as players, though, I had like 3 that I was like really going between.
Oh, trust me, I cheated on mine too. I've got 2 players.
Because I bet yours are like Dallas. Like, I bet you got to have the Dallas in there and throw it in there because I had to throw.
Sean was a stud. I will say.
Yeah. So my first one is Baker Mayfield. 24 of 30, 289 yards and 4 touchdowns. He came out, ran Liam Cohen's offense really well, second year under it. And it was just really impressive to see him distribute the ball. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, even Kate Otten, like wherever he wanted. And then thrown in there, Bucky Irving getting some carries too.
Bucky Irving leading the team.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So Baker Mayfield, showing it's not a fluke for 1 year right there. It kind of, I mean, they were playing the Commanders, so I got to take that with a grain of salt. I don't know really how good the Commanders are.
Well, they're not going to finish last in the NFC East. I'll put my money on that.
He's got some good weapons around
The Giants have locked that up after 1 week.
Yeah.
Last in the NFC East. Just put it in.
Well, they're playing each other this week.
Oh, I know. I saw that. That's a matchup for the NFC least right there. I'm going Redskins, or excuse me,
Battle of the Pooper Bowl.
Yeah, dude, that's not a good matchup, but I cannot trust the Giants. But yeah, you taking Baker Mayfield for most impressive player? That's who I took for most impressive team. Like them just dominating the Commanders the entire day. The offense, I mean, Mike Evans, who never seems to age, putting up 37 points, which I think is the second most in the league on the week 1. The Saints actually they put up the most, but
the Saints, the Panthers are.
Dear God, man. Like, I'm usually like one to want number 1 overall picks to like succeed and like prove themselves. But Bryce Young, dear God, man.
He needs to figure it out.
That was
definitely, but not until like week 3 because he's playing the Chargers next week. So
have another dud, please.
Yeah, please, just another terrible outing. He's gonna get like 4 Khalil Mack sacks, 1 Joey Bosa. Everyone's hopping on there.
But seeing the Buccaneers, what they did, because like a week ago on Sports Sunday on the Fan, we were previewing the NFC South, and that was the question. It's like, we were all taking the Falcons, but it was a matter of like, did what the Bucs did last year, was it a fluke? Are they able to replicate it? Was it a flash?
I was thinking that same thing.
Like, I feel that a lot of people are feeling that way about the Bucs. Is like, what are they going to be able to do and replicate in this week's game? I am really intrigued to see what happens because they're playing the Lions in Detroit.
Again, be a really good game.
Which was an awesome playoff game last year.
Be a really good game, yeah.
I will be locked in on that one because also this little preview for the gambling portion at the end of the show, Bread and Locks, which again, I am just on fire with the names.
That's very solid.
That is now at 7 points for Detroit.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what
that's surprising, honestly.
I was surprised by that too, because I was like, just seeing how well
Detroit's at home?
It's in Detroit.
Yeah.
So seeing how well Tampa Bay played last week and how that game went last year in Detroit, I was like, man, giving them a touchdown, you got to cover at just a touchdown.
But this is like week 2 of the NFL is do not overreact. What you saw week 1.
No,
you
classic.
can you throw it out the window week 2
because that's what we have to do
right now. Everyone's like, oh, the sky's falling or we're winning the Super Bowl. It's like 2 different
Oh yeah,
Besides,
I already placed my futures on Bucks winning it all.
Yeah. But I mean, they're going to see a significant upgrade in the Lions team this week. So, but I agree. The Bucks were very impressive coming out there, scoring 37 points and pretty much flawless on offense for the most part.
Yeah,
No turnovers. It was
really good.
My most impressive players.
Initially, like I wanted to go Jordan Mason because it was just so like fresh in the mind from last night.
I mean, it was very impressive.
Yes, it was just like, who the hell is this guy? And it's like, oh, okay, he just like literally no drop off from Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I mean, all this rush for like 150 yards. Like, where the hell did this come from?
He looked explosive. He like hard to tackle. I was like really impressed.
Also, did you see that after the game, what was happening with him?
When he talked about the injury?
Yeah, I forget who the ESPN sideline reporter saying, that when he found out that he was going to start, he was like, maybe Friday night, something like that. And then he was asked about it again in the press conference. And then he's like, see, this is why that question makes me mad.
Yeah.
He's like, this is why I don't like talking to media. And it's just like,
you tricked me.
Yeah, it's
got me.
You got caught. Like, that's why you're mad, is because
now they're going to get fined.
Oh, probably. I mean, they should. Yeah. I mean, that
because you got to have that out there. Like,
like
you knew Friday. Who else knew? Vegas?
Well, that's what I want to know. Like, because usually they'll have the injury report like on certain days, like did practice, limited practice, out.
Oh, if on that Friday, I mean, he was probably questionable still, but not told that, hey, we're going to rest Christian and you're going to be starting on on Monday. So.
Like that's what I wanted
to know. So like I'm on the 49ers injury report right now.
Christian McCaffrey, he was a limited participant in practice Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then game status was questionable. So yeah, that trust me, my ears kind of perked up a little bit after the game when he said that too. And he was like, like Friday night. I was like, well, we all just found out literally.
I think everyone
so I mean, he's an easy one to go with, but from what I saw, like, and this is kind of one of those like, well, duh, like, of course he's impressive, but the Steelers do not win that game without TJ Watt.
Oh,
that dude,
just an animal.
MVP like performance against the Falcons.
He puts that like the whole team somehow on his back almost every Sunday with the plays that he makes.
Unreal. Like what he was doing, like they ended up having to double him by the game's end because he was just doing whatever he wanted to the Falcons offensive line. Like it was insane watching it. It seemed like every time I looked at it, like, oh, TJ Watt a sack, TJ Watt a fumble recovery. Oh, they called him offsides because he's so good at timing the jump.
Oh, it's insane. He's got the counts like memorized.
He watches film and knows what to do.
They called that penalty on him because he also like got a strip sack fumble recovery on that play, and they're like, I don't think that was because one, this is TJ Watt. Like he's that good that he knows what. He is timing that perfectly. Like you cannot call that on him. Like you think, like I trust him more than I trust the refs on that. 100 times out of 100 that he got that right and just timed it really, really well. But just watching what he did on Sunday, it's like, one, don't bet against Mike Tomlin. Like I learned that already week one.
Right.
I was like, I'm taking Falcons. They're going to put the league on notice.
Everyone was taking Falcons when they're like, oh, Russ is out and Justin Fields is in.
That was why I was like, take the Falcons to cover. I was like, it
should be easy. Kirk Cousins. We saw what Kirk Cousins looked like coming back from it.
So there was a graph that I saw that broke out like his plays under center over the years from like the pistol and then plays like on the move and like boot outs and stuff like that. He had 0 snaps under center this last weekend. And throughout his career, I mean, a lot with the Vikings, he has been under center. Barely ever.
We don't want that guy moving much, okay?
Oh, yeah. And then, like, he had, I think it was maybe like 20% of his snaps were from the pistol as well this week. And he, like, never goes from years past. And then, like, his
could be the new OC too that he's with, like just running different offense and like. But I mean, probably a lot of don't get hurt like early.
Yeah, it's one of those like you probably could have a lot of quarterbacks coming back from injury playing for a
a while.
Like,
Like, there's
three
three
that
that
happened.
happened this week.
Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was decent last night.
But he was, I mean, not very mobile.
No. So, all right, yeah, I got this up here. So, I mean, under Kirk Cousins, under center, the last few years, like last year, 30.8%.
Oh,
The year before that, 29%, 38% in 21. In 2020, 2019, he was 48% under center. And then this last week, pistol percentage was 17.9%. He had never had a season where he was over 1.2% in the pistol.
wow. Okay.
On the run percentage,
Really changing that up for him then.
yeah, on the run percentage this last week was 3.8% of the time. Every other year, it's 10%, 11%, 20% of his dropbacks. So right now, at least it seems that they are not looking to have him move at all.
No.
It's like,
Yeah.
we're going to
Have you
drop
dropped
back by putting you in pistol or shotgun, and then we're not going to move you around at all. So offense, like you said, first year, new offense, new offensive coordinator, first real game for him coming back from injury. We'll see how it goes throughout the season.
Going to be a little rusty though, and he definitely looked it. But honestly, going up against like Watt is not a good first game to come into. He's one of the scariest people.
Not
to come
ideal.
in. Yeah. No one's going to be able to block him like on most teams, but that's just a bad matchup to start. But I like that for your player of the week.
And then I kind of cheated because my number 2 was like a combo of a player and a unit. It was Saquon Barkley and the Eagles offense.
Oh, yeah.
Tip of the cap, give credit where credit's due.
They're going to use him well. They're going to use him well.
But the two newest additions to that offensive line, Cam Jurgens and Kai Becton, like I was watching Baldy's breakdowns. Like watch the game and then looking at the film of them. Like they were just moving dudes. Like Jurgens was a little iffy to start.
Getting a nice push.
Oh, dude, I'm nervous. As a Cowboys fan, I am nervous. And I took the Eagles to win the division already, but
Oh, you did?
yeah, and on my Sunday show.
Wow, that's surprising.
I'm a new man.
Okay.
That Green Bay playoff game broke.
To reconsider things.
Oh yes, 100%. A little bit more humble, a little bit more reasonable.
There's not enough Cowboy fans like that out there, though, so I'm liking this.
Much more objective in how I feel about the division and some other teams.
Not delusional.
No.
Okay.
No, trust me. Last year, it got me delusional. I was like, I was connecting all the dots. I was like, dude, look, we finally put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. Okay, we've broken the curse. This is our year.
We got it.
Yeah, it was. It was a tough one because also I've said this about the Cowboys in the previous years in the playoffs when they like lost the 49ers. They always made like a little comeback at the end to make it close against the 49ers in those 2 playoff games. And so they always probably had me in a sense of like, they were right there. They had a chance. They kind of came back. They had a slow start. Last year against that Packers game, there was no doubt within like 10 minutes of that game. I didn't even watch the second half.
I just knew how I've seen enough.
Oh, dude, I was iced into my house. And I was like, I might slip and fall and die on the way to the bar, but I'm going to the bar and I'm drinking my sorrows.
I got to.
And if I slip and die, that's probably better than what I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah.
It's
pain.
Worst. Yeah, that Packers game broke me as a Cowboys fan. So that's, partly why I took the Eagles is because I was like, I can't trust the Cowboys going forward at all. They could easily win this division, go 17-0 this year. But when it comes to January, like all that trust goes out the window.
I will say the Cowboys did look a lot better than what I thought they were going to look, or Cleveland looked a lot worse than what I thought Cleveland was going to look. One of the two.
It's kind of like to go back to college football, the Texas-Michigan game. It was like, is Texas this good or is Michigan this bad?
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, same thing. It's like, is
Ferguson getting hurt? Ouch.
He'll be fine.
Okay.
He'll be fine. We'll get him in the wave pool. We'll get him in the ice bath, and he'll be rocking and rolling. My boss was asking me today. He's like, "How's that Ferguson injury looking?" And I was like, "Fantasy implications, I assume."
Same.
He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I've seen that he could play this week." So
I don't know if
I hope.
Don't rush the guy. It's a long season.
Oh, I know. You got 16 more games, you're going up against the division-leading Saints after putting up 47. Derek Carr, MVP leader right now.
God, that was something. I'm not sold on the Saints. So
Yeah. So I went with the Eagles and Saquon Barkley because it's just like, all right, that's going to be dangerous going forward. But I think, we kind of touched on two of the more surprising aspects of the weeks were the Buccaneers and the Patriots winning, but on the flip side, two of the like disappointing teams, the Falcons, I think were extremely disappointing to start. Yes, a lot of rust, but
obviously the Bengals.
But then the Bengals too. Those are the two teams this week I'm coming from where I'm like, dear God, what happened in there?
Also, I have a couple honorable mentions too for players.
Yeah.
This one kind of a homer. J.K. Dobbins coming back from injury.
Dude, great story.
10 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown. He looks like kind of what Harbaugh wants in our run game. So,
how hard are you right now with Harbaugh on the Chargers?
I'm honestly look at our wide receiver core, and I think we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. Justin had multiple passes that were just not caught. Josh Palmer's our number one.
You got Lad McConkey, baby.
I like McConkey.
Great white hope.
Yeah. He's our only hope right now because we got Hayden Hurst and Will Dissly as our tight ends right now.
Hey, don't besmirch Dissly, all right? Good years for the
I like both of them. They're more of blocking tight ends, though. We need someone for him to throw to, and that's not looking great. Our defense looked way better, but then again, that goes back to, is Vegas that bad? Like, is Vegas really bad? Because I think they might be.
I think they might be. Did you see Antonio Pierce catching hell for that 4th and 1 punt?
Yeah, I was like,
you deserve to lose after
Yes.
You deserve to lose after that.
Thanks.
Absolutely shameful. Like,
I saw their like percentage to win the game went down like so hard. Like it was like 70% while like going for it, and then it went back down to like 40%.
Like the ESPN like win predictor or something like
that. Or like they're saying. But my last guy that I was impressed with, and I think because he's also coming off injury, and we didn't get to see him very much, is Jameson Williams for Detroit, wide receiver.
Oh yeah.
He had himself he's very explosive. You could see it. Like he had a very big game, touchdown, 125 yards, 5 receptions. So I was impressed. He's just another weapon for the Lions to throw to. Jared Goff got an embarrassment of riches now. So they can hit you with Amon-Ra St. Brown in the little intermediate, and then they go long to Jameson Williams. They got Sam Laporta right in there.
I was going to say,
which running back do you want?
You'll be able to buy a village in Africa with the amount of money you've won off Sam Laporta prop bets.
Oh, Sam Laporta is my guy. This year, it's a new guy I started out with, and that's Brian Thomas from Jacksonville, rookie.
Oh, let me guess. You took a touchdown prop this last week for him to
touchdown and over 42 yards.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, this is the guy this year. They don't know, but this is the guy. So big Brian Thomas fan this year. I'm on his season-long yards. So, yeah, I was pretty impressed with Jameson Williams.
All right, well, since you talked about the old gambling aspect there, and it's been kind of a theme throughout the show, let's get to bread and locks. Okay, win you some bread with these locks. Locks, LOX, baby.
Well,
now I'm hungry.
There's not a ton of games yet that I've like dug super deep into, but I will be betting. I have at least 3 total bets out for Thursday. And Thursday starts out with
college and NFL?
College and NFL, yes. My NFL one is pretty simple, just Josh Allen anytime touchdown, because guy gets down to the goal line, and who's going to be having the ball? It's
seemingly
Josh.
That guy.
He's jumping over someone. He's running over someone. It's going to happen. He's sneaking it in, whatever it is. So I really like that one. I got in that early.
Is that just like pass or rush, or is it rush?
Anytime touchdown.
Yeah. What are the odds?
No, sorry. It is him running it
Running anytime rush touchdown? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, they use him so often now on the goal line. So I felt pretty good about that. But to the real game on Thursday, down in San Marcos, Texas State.
I was waiting for it. I saw this line earlier today, And I was just like, what the hell? I was like, go Bobcats, baby.
Bobcats are, I've got them to win the Sun Belt. They are my team, JG Kinney. I'm a big JG Kinney guy. What's funny is Texas State last week played UTSA, and JG Kinney, his high school coach was Jeff Traylor, which he played at UTSA. And he took it. I was watching that game. He took it easy on UTSA there at the end. He could have put up 50-plus points on them. It was 49-10. He could have put 50-plus on them.
Didn't you have a dynasty with Texas State?
Oh, yeah.
NCAA football 14?
You betcha.
Yeah, it's a great day to be a Bobcat.
Yeah. So, of course, you can kind of see which side I'm going on, but I did not see Arizona State being this good this year. Oddly enough, Arizona State is 123rd in tempo so far this year, so they really slowed down their tempo. Like they were in the 50s last year, I believe, and Texas State is usually somewhere in the 25 to 30 range. So a clash of styles of like the way they want to play. And I mean, it goes through Cam Scatabo for Arizona State.
Oh, yeah. I heard there was someone on the broadcast that was like, of course, they're like, who he reminds me of? Christian McCaffrey. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course, the only white running back.
Right.
Like, of course. Like, and then so I feel like someone was like, oh, Bucky Irving, also good comp, but it's just like.
Well, Kenny Dillingham said that.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he said it was Buck. Yeah. So, I mean, he had 33 carries, 262 yards last week. No touchdown, but they played Mississippi State, who looked pretty bad. I can't get a grip on how good they actually look, but they run a lot of counter type stuff. I mean, Kenny always draws up some crazy plays. He has linemen lined up all over the place. It's just complete, you know. And then Sam Levitt from West Lynn Pride is their quarterback.
Go Lions.
I don't know if you saw his line last week.
Electric. Absolutely electric. Lighting the field up.
69-yard passing.
Nice.
Woo! Yeah. It was clearly there's running the dang ball out there. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that against this Texas State team.
I saw 3.5 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Texas State, they have Jordan McLeod this year, who came in from JMU, led JMU to a really good season last year. He's a great fit for JG Kinney's system. He runs it great. He has not been turning the ball over. His completion percentage and his turnover rate are really good.
I just love that you know this much about Texas State football.
Well, when you're trying to figure out teams,
win some goddamn money.
When you're trying to figure out some teams that you like for the year, they also got they got both UTEP running backs in the transfer portal. Really weird, but they're both pretty good. Not too bad. They have a really good wide receiver. I think he had like 13 receptions last week, 125 yards and a touchdown. And then I would say basically the key is who's going to dictate the tempo of this game. And I think Texas State's going to be able to push Arizona State around. They were able to push UTSA around, which I thought UTSA going into the season was going to be one of the better D-lines in the American.
Runners?
Yeah. They have some big boys up front. So I'm going to be going with Texas State. I already locked them in at +2.
As I saw, it was +1.5.
+1.5. I don't really know where this line's going. It could go back. If there's a 3, I might buy back a little bit. But this is a huge game for Texas State, not only for the implications of them possibly making a college football playoff from low berth. They are up there, but they are been talked about. Watch out. I think you're going to watch this team. You're going to be surprised at how good. I also bet the over in this game at 58.5. I believe it's 59, something like that now.
Can you imagine a Texas State playoff?
Yeah. I mean, this is if they lose to Arizona State, you throw that out the window. But
now I'm really going to be rooting for Texas State to win this game.
But I mean, if they run the table, yeah, that's right. I mean, I love Kenny Dillingham and I love his story.
I get it, yeah.
But JG Kinney, I've always said if Will Stein had to go and he left and took a head coach job, I would try to get him as offensive coordinator. I think that's not going to happen. I think he's going to be swooped up by Baylor or Texas Tech because I think Dave Aranda's on his way out or Joey McGuire's on his way out, like one of those two. And he's a Texas – he was a high school Texas coach, JG Kinney. So I don't see how he gets out of Texas, but his offense is really fun, and no one kind of runs the stuff that he does in college right now. So he's been putting up points every week, and I assume that he's going to keep doing that. It's a short week, tough position for Arizona State to come into. San Marcos on a Thursday, a short week, and I'm telling you, the boys are going to be fired up.
Dude, let's go Bobcats.
Yeah.
You got me sold on Bobcats football now.
Bobcat fever, okay?
I'm surprised that you have not bought any Texas State garb.
Right.
Hat, shirt, anything throughout the years yet.
Oh, I mean, it might happen. Who knows?
It's like Smitty with that Middle Tennessee State jersey.
That's right.
He broke that out last year when we were watching them upset Miami. He just pulled it out of the closet, kissed the patch.
I'll tell you, if Bobcats win the Sun Belt this year, you bet you I'm getting something.
Dude, yes. I want to see Texas State gear. Regardless if they win the Sun Belt, you should have some Texas State gear. You coached that team for years.
That's true. Do you think I should get a T-shirt? Do you think I should get a jersey, a hat? What do you think here?
Ooh, a jersey would be mean.
Yeah. But I can tell you also a bet that I have out already for the weekend. Coastal Carolina, minus 17.5.
Okay.
Up to 18.5 now. And I would still play it at 18.5. Temple is the worst team that I've watched this year. Worst. I mean, their quarterback threw the ball 46 times this week, and he had no business throwing 46 times. They allow pressure 36% of the time. He drops back, which is crazy. Their offensive line looks like kind of a JV offensive line, and their defense is also awful.
18.5 Coastal Carolina.
Yep, they are the most penalized, and they have the most turnovers so far this year through 2 games, Temple. So that just goes to show you how undisciplined and how bad this team is.
I was going to say, undisciplined Owls, unacceptable.
I bet their team total under 14.5 last week against Navy.
Lock.
They finished with 11, a little closer than what I wanted, but let me tell you, I didn't feel better about a bet in the day than that because of what I had seen from that Temple team.
Dude, that just kills me. You looking at what's available and you just licking your chops over a Temple team under. You're like,
oh
yeah, all day.
Dude, I'm going to fade Temple this whole year. I don't care what the number is. Let's get it up to 20s. Like, at this point, I don't know if they're going to be fielding a team at the end. Their quarterback, I saw someone ask their quarterback, like,
just forfeit the last.
Hey, are you going to be all right?
Minutes.
Like, because the amount of times he got slammed on Saturday. Are you going to be all right? And he just kind of like chuckled and was like, yeah, I'll be out there. Like you can tell he's
defeated already.
They're not enthused to be out there, and their coach is pretty bad too. So that's one of the teams that I'm going to be looking to fade all year, Temple. And then I'm going to keep looking over this whole week of different lines and where to go.
All right, for the sake of time, I want to run a couple by you.
Yes, go ahead.
You are my gambling savant. You are my Swami.
I mean, I do lose all the time, but yes, I have a good idea.
I can't wait for the Tanner Steffens gambling line. Call my number now. First pick's free.
Just the Pharrell voice.
It's automatic.
Yeah.
Alabama is a 15.5 point favorite against Wisconsin. Am I crazy about that?
Well, the early lines back in summer were 7. So, they could definitely see Wisconsin being better at that time.
But there's nothing about Wisconsin the first 2 weeks has left me, confident that they're going to keep it close against Alabama. I know South Florida just did, but, again, another reason why it's I feel Alabama going to Camp Randall and just waxing that ass.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I'm with you on that. But I'm playing it a different way. I'm playing it Wisconsin team total under 17.5.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to be able to score. I've watched Tyler Van Dyke. I've watched Phil Longo run this offense. It looks like a complete mess. And the Jimmies and Joes are just different.
Yeah.
On each side. They're different. So I would not hate
me taking the 15.5.
Yeah.
You're on the point total for Wisconsin.
I'm going to be under because I don't think they score over 17 points.
Okay. All right.
And that's where I'm going with it.
The other college bet that I saw, do I dare take Florida to cover 4.5 against A&M at home? because after week 1, it was like, dear God, this is going to be bad. Like, there's no way that Florida wins more than 4 games this year. Billy Napier is out after halfway through the season. And then he threw in DJ Lagway last week. And granted, it was against, what was it, Samson?
Yeah, it was a really bad team.
A really bad team.
Yeah.
But he lived up. And so there's part of me that is like, I feel like that's a trap right there.
Yeah.
Florida at home against A&M. A&M continually just disappoints, it seems like, year after year. They have the letdown game at some point. And seeing that Florida was plus 4.5, I was like, one, that's really close as it already. But there's something about that matchup in that game where it's like, I could totally see Florida covering at least. And then if not, just somehow winning that game.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like kind of a short line.
Yeah.
It does.
Again, especially what we just saw 2 weeks ago against Miami.
Going with DJ Lagway for kind of his first big game, what are you going to get from him? I think this is going to be a big opportunity to see how he comes up to the occasion of these kind of games.
Yeah.
Mike Elko is going to have something schemed for this game, so I think it might be difficult for them to score. Florida just seems like so dysfunctional. Their defense, like Billy Napier, the whole coaching staff, it seems like a mess.
Yeah, this is one where I need to all right, pump the brakes. Don't overreact from just one game against fucking Samson of all teams.
I think this is one personally I'm going to sit back and watch because I think the line is pretty set where it should be, but it should be a good game, and it's going to tell us a lot about these teams throughout the season of what are we going to get from DJ Lagway. And are you going to throw Graham Mertz in there all of a sudden too?
No.
Because you're going to ruin everything.
No.
And then
just in week 1, I was like, wait, Graham Mertz, Wisconsin Graham Mertz?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
And I do understand the sentiment of a quarterback transferring. I mean, we've seen it over here. Bo Nix coming to Oregon, Michael Penix coming to Washington. Seeing transfer quarterbacks excel in their new place that they're at, their new school. But we've also seen it go the other way, and players not really building on what they've learned over the last few years, going to a new program, new system, and getting better. But there was seeing Graham Mertz, I was just like, no, stop.
That's not the answer.
No, yeah,
we're
good. We're good here.
Did you have another one that you were looking at too?
I mean, there was just a couple of NFL ones that were intriguing. I mean, 49ers to cover 6. I think it opened at 5.5. But the 49ers, I mean, just how they looked in week 1, it is it almost looks like it's just 49ers are still playing from last season. They didn't even have an off season. There is no off season lull. There is no training camp lull for them. It is just business as usual. They are still one of the best teams. And then the Vikings,
it did look that way.
Yeah. And then the Vikings, is it just a matter of they played a shitty New York Giants team and just had a good week in the Meadowlands, and there was no offense for the Giants to fight back, so the Vikings and Sam Darnold just had a good week against a really bad team. 6 points, I know it's in Minnesota, but that just seems like a very low point total.
I agree. I mean, I don't think you're going to get Sam Darnold going, 9 of 9 to start the game again.
Yeah,
and
he was one of the best quarterbacks last week.
It was kind of fluky. They should be able to handle Justin Jefferson like they did Garrett Wilson for the most part.
Yeah.
And I just see that offensive line, and I'm like, they're just pushing people all around right now. And I would not bet the Vikings, that's for sure, especially under a touchdown.
Right.
I will go back to when we were talking about the Lions, though, the Lions and Bucks. Dan Campbell, since he's become the Lions head coach, 70% cover rate for that guy.
Oh, dude, that's
the number.
And that's within going
I wouldn't bet against that guy.
Something a couple of years ago.
They got very lucky on Sunday night to cover the spread because of the overtime.
Yeah,
but
that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, Dan Campbell, 70%. So I do not bet against Dan Campbell and the Lions very often. I might look for a player prop. I've been liking player props lately because it gets you away from kind of the tight lines that the odds makers set and gets you to look kind of focused. 'Cause I think the Lions are going to win. 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 I think the Li somewhere else and seeing good matchups.
Yeah.
See who's going to be able to exploit different areas.
Well, the one player prop I took on my Sunday show was, and it was just because it was timely with the day's events. But I was like, give me Tyreek Hill over on yards. He's going to go off for like 200 yards
After that,
yeah. I was like, give me that all day.
Right.
I think it was like 96.5. And then like I saw
75 that he finished with or something.
Oh no, he finished because he had the 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
So he finished with like 120 or something.
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
so it's easy.
Yeah, it was comfortable. But then I saw a stat later in the night that week 1 games, he averages like 115, 120 yards in his week 1 matchups, like over here.
That's impressive.
Which was like, it was like him and Michael Irvin and Antonio Brown are some of like the best week 1 receivers in NFL history or something like that.
Wow.
So yeah, I hear you on the prop bets. I'll say the last one I want to bring up, and then we got to go.
Yes.
Up. And it's one of the shit games of the week. The Giants and Commanders. The over under right now, it has been bet up to 44.5.
Who's scoring?
That's what I said.
Who is scoring?
Again, to reference my show on Sundays is that I took the Giants Vikings under in that because I was like, who's scoring? And it kind of had me nervous because the Vikings kept scoring.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped in the fourth quarter and it's hit the under. But 44.5 for Giants and Commanders.
Actually, it kind of makes sense. Both defense looked like shit. Honestly, they both did. One gave up 28, one gave up 37. Like, who's stopping who? But also, are your offenses that efficient? No.
That's what I like. You have a rookie quarterback.
He might be able to run for 100 yards. Yeah. Jane Daniels' rushing yards was one of my favorite plays.
He might die doing so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. And then Daniel Jones, who's dear God, in that offense, like Malik Neighbors is already pissed. Like, that's where I saw it. I was like, 44.5. Again, the Steelers and the Broncos, I think their over-under is like 36.5. And I was like, I watched those games last week too. I trust those offenses more than I do these two.
It's a gross game. Like, I'll obviously be tuning in with the red zone portion of it, but there's not a damn chance that I'm throwing that game on and watching it like by itself.
Is that a trap bet right there? The 44.5, like just being like,
you want to go under?
Yeah. Like I looked at that. I was like, of course it's going to hit the under.
My only hesitation.
But I hear you saying is those defenses sucked this last week. So that's maybe why it's getting bet up is like, maybe the defenses are just not going to be able to stop each other. And then you get a 27-24 final.
Yeah, you're going to be hearing about it, how your offense sucked all week. And what's the one thing you're going to be working on to try to scheme up the offense?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have any like faith in Brian Dable right now. And Dan Quinn's not much better at the moment. I see where you're at thinking the under is like the good play because these guys can't score.
Yeah,
obviously. But again, what teams are they going against? So we'll get back to that. We'll get back to you on that. We'll look a little bit more in throughout the week and kind of see where that line's moving and grooving.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. I just checked the stream. We have gone for an hour and a half, damn near. Somehow, some way, at some point, I think this is just in the last couple minutes, your camera cut out. But the good thing is I've been recording this whole thing, and so I got the audio here. And so we'll post the podcast. We'll still figure out a schedule. This is something too where like 2024, we got the technology where we can do this at our homes, where you're at your place, you're at mine. You can come into the studio. We have equipment where we can go on location at places.
That's nice.
Yeah. So we'll get it figured out as far as what days we're going to do it. I mean, whether we do a Thursday or Friday, a Monday and Thursday, Tuesday, whatever days we end up, we'll get it figured out. But make sure I'll be posting the video link and the audio podcast link every week. So
awesome.
Yes, sir, dude. Good. I love this.
Yeah, that was fun.
I just love
a lot of fun.
Being able to talk football, get in depth, and you just kill me with your fucking knowledge on these coaches and quarterbacks. Like I like to think I know what I'm talking about from time to time, but that's why I love having you on this, is because you sure as hell have everything locked in. I know it's for mostly because you're trying to win some fucking money.
Yeah, I've always loved following it though.
It's so
like,
great.
I love talking ball. So definitely a good time.
All right. So episode 1, fish and toast.
Yes.
Tasty. And some nice shaved lox on a nice piece of sourdough with some cream cheese and some capers on there.
Mm-mm.
I'm hungry.
I am hungry.
This show, talking about fish and lox, and then or fish and toast, and then the bread and lox, is just making me want a charcuterie board now. Just
Bring it into
crush a charcuterie board.
your MLB show.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tanner, appreciate you.
Yep. Appreciate
and
it.
we'll catch everyone next week. Peace.
Peace.